Hello survivors! Today we are playing on the Legionnaire in Soulstone Survivors, and we've got a pretty funny build for you. I do want you all to stick around all the way to the end because I do have a second build for you that pushes really far or decently far into the Overlord cycles, but I didn't show the build because it actually causes a lot of FPS drop, and when we add OBS as well as YouTube's encoding, it kind of ruins the video for everyone. So stick around. Firstly, let's take a look at this build. We are running the Skill Mastery Chaos and Skill Mastery Nature so that we can get Chaotic Infernal and Pesticide Burst. These three flamethrower skills all apply negative effects at 0.25 seconds, which is pretty cool, which means that we can then get a lot of the poison passive, which is then going to allow us to go and cause a lot more poison, which is the whole point, because we want to run Purging Slam. And then you can see when it procs, it deals 300% of the poison instantly, as well as the 1000 damage that it has. Now, the one cool thing about Corrosive Spear and Purging Slam is they have a buff called Vigor. It's the only two skills in the game that have this buff, which increases your maximum health by a certain amount for 6 seconds. On Corrosive Spear it is 0.5, and then on Purging Slam it's 2.5. And for 6 seconds, you know, when you're running at a 0.2 second cooldown, that is quite a lot of stacks. You know, you're looking at 2.5 HP per second, so you can get yourself up, you know, quite a decent amount of HP, maybe around 100 HP before you land up seeing the climate, you know, and that's without a 0.2 second Purging Slam. So if you wanted to run Scent of Blood with Finesse to see how much HP you can actually get, that could be quite funny, but that's not what we were looking at. So let's go take a look at how this build performs. Running Bloodlust, you need about 500 potency on Bloodlust to get some of the skills to 0.2 seconds. The one nice thing about it is it requires a less, less finesse. You need no finesse, you actually just need the skill and it works. Where Scent of Blood, you need potency, you also need a lot of cast frequency on all your other skills because you need to stack finesse, and then it also just it takes up a lot of space. Whereas, you know, Bloodlust, it's just potency, a little bit of cooldown over here and there, and then also you need a little bit of it gives you the movement speed as well, so you don't need to run haste or anything for movement speed. You can run Leviathan, you're going to feel pretty decent in the movement speed department over there. So defensive wise, I think Bloodlust is a little bit better than Scent of Blood, and also the fact that it allows you more freedom of what skills to use, where a Scent of Blood is going to force you to use finesse or the swing skills, but it is what it is. Alright, so for this build we don't actually want Doom. We're going to be stacking as much of the others as possible. We could have left the burn damage over there, but when I speak about effective potency on Bloodlust, that also includes things like damage increase on Chaos. It increases the effective potency for the skill as well. So all of those beautiful upgrades that you see doing that are going to help it over there. Over here we're going to go with the multicast chance. That's going to help us. The cast frequency over there, we just want it under 10 seconds, and that's going to help us a lot. We don't actually need the burn, we're looking only for poison, and that's going to help our Purging Slam deal more damage. Now we do actually want damage for nature or damage on Purging Slam, because that's going to increase the percentage of damage it deals when it does actually proc the poison everywhere. But the point is to deal as much poison as possible, because when you get this number up, the Purging Slam's number is going to go up as well, because it's dealing damage based on how much poison you have. We don't need the poison to deal more damage, we just need to stack the damage as much as possible. We're not worried about the Ascension. Again, the Ascension for, not again, but the Ascension for the Legionnaire does need a little bit of a buff. Changing the burn to Shattered would be that buff that is necessary. That would make me play it a little bit more often. But right now, just having burn over there doesn't really make sense. It made sense back when Incinerating Spear worked the same way as Purging Slam, where it dealt a damage based on how many burn stacks you had. Then his Ascension made sense. But right now, having the burn on it doesn't really feel very impactful for an Ascension. There are a couple of these ascensions in the game where I think they do need a little bit of an overhaul, not necessarily to be changed, but at least the effects to be updated to better fit the profile of the game and where it seems to be heading. So I don't feel like a lot of them really get used, and a lot of people don't like these characters because of the ascensions that they have. A good example is Legionnaire as one, and then some other good examples are going to be things like the Beastmaster, and even the actually Necromancers is really good. A lot of people don't necessarily like it, but I don't see a problem with it. But you know, Necromancer is another one that a lot of people seem to have an issue with. Again, don't really have much of a problem there. I'm gonna grab the skill chain just because we do have a few nature skills, you know, 3 of them, sorry, and that's going to go to slam, so that's okay for us. More purging slam attacks means more damage dealt. Going back to the ascensions, other ones that I found to be a little bit lackluster, Death Knight as well. I like the concept, I like that you can use them to gain different effects like Ice, Poison or Doom. However, I don't feel like they do much. I mean, he's the Death Knight, maybe there's a way that we could get him to do something different. But I think changing them completely is a bit much to ask for, but maybe maybe adjusting what they actually do is going to be a lot better. Alright, we do not necessarily want to use auto aim for this skill, especially when the bosses have spawned, because you want everything to attack that boss. Area of effect over here, that's fantastic. We can grab a little bit of defenses, it doesn't really matter too much, and then we're going to grab some more cast frequency. Now unfortunately we can't get these lower than 0.25, but 0.2 is the you know, the lowest cooldown in the game anyway, so it really doesn't matter too much if it's 0.25 or 0.2. I think it's still going to be applying a whack ton of poison and poison stacks, which is exactly what we're trying to achieve here. The only problem is I have not received a lot of upgrades for our damage, so the damage percentage isn't going up much, which is really unfortunate. Even if we go over here, there we go, there's one, so we go to 384% from 300%, which is actually a massive increase. So you don't even need to invest a lot of damage into the skill, you just need to try and get a good amount of the damage in there whenever you see it, because that percentage damage is a massive increase in the damage. Maybe running something like battle prowess will be very battle proficiency, sorry, to get the prowess buff. My goodness, today I just can't speak. Getting battle proficiency will help a whack ton over here. Also, don't forget that we are going to be showing you another build on here, which we didn't show in the video. We'll show it at the end, just the match history, so that I can show you the build. It works with Purging Slam and Corrosive Spear again, but like I mentioned, it did cause a lot of lag for us. Over here we got 384, it went up to 444. Again, huge amount of damage increase over there, because remember, the more poison we have, the more damage it's going to do. So even if we just go and get even more cast frequency, more poison stacks, more damage, there are so many ways to, you know, elevate this build in terms of damage that it just becomes pretty insane with the scaling that it can achieve. The rest of it is kind of trying to get everything to work with it. But we'll show you the build that works with it really well. This was just for, you know, fun, just to have a look at how the skill works. The vigor, you can see that it already dealt a whack ton of damage, 2.4 billion effect total damage. That's because of overkill with poison and things like that. More overkill happens with Doom, but the poison does deal more damage. So 2.4 billion damage in under 15 minutes. Really fun little skill. A whack ton of DPS over there as well. Let's go take a look at the skill setup that we had for the Legionnaire that causes a little bit of FPS lag. I think I was alt-tabbed for quite a long time as well, and that may be a little bit of an issue over there, but you can see we are on over here Overlord 6 with it, same amount of curse. The skills are pretty much completely different, except for the fact that we have the Bloodlust and then the 2 nature skills, Corrosive Spear and Purging Slam. For our runes, we did run Skill Mastery Thrust with Arctic Assault and Thrust, and then we ran Inclination Thrust because every single skill we used was a thrust skill except for the 2 starting weapons. We then did run Battle Proficiency, War Tank, Improved Repertory, and a Synergetic, and that gives us On Guard for the Exposed, which works fantastic with Purging Slam. It gives us Bulwark for the block and form. We then got Form and Resilience, which is crit and armor, crit block. We then got more armor from this. I believe my armor power on this buff was actually at 1000 and it was constantly up. We then got Arctic Assault for Disoriented. We got Bloodlust. I had 500% potency, which gave me 200% cast frequency on the actual Bloodlust, which led to a 0.2 second cooldown on Corrosive Spear, On Guard, Arctic Assault and Thrust, and that's probably why I went into a little bit of a problem with FPS, just because of On Guard and Corrosive projectile having so much. I think this also has quite a lot of problems, especially with RC Veins also creating a lot of projectiles. But there we go, you can see how much damage we did with everything. 1.4 trillion on Purging Slam, and Arctic Assault also dealing nearly double the amount of damage as On Guard. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.